Hello, my name is Nathan Pinchback Toomer, and you all may know me as Gene Toomer. Well, y'all want to hear my story? Well, here's how it all goes.
It's a beautiful baby boy.
My oh my, ain't he just a gem? I'm gonna name him after his father, Nathan Pinchback Toomer. Hold on just. Nathan! Nathan! Nathan, darling! Nathan!
I'm sorry, I had to.
Nathan!
Growing up after my father left us, I attended all black schools. In 1914, I began college at the University of Wisconsin and studied many different areas, including literature and agriculture, but soon transferred to the College of the City of New York with my mother and a newlywed husband and studied until 1917. The next 4 years, I began writing and publishing poetry and books. I started a teaching job in 1921 and decided to take a trip back to my southern town. Going back to my roots inspired me to write my famous poem Cain, which was about the realities and emotions of the African American experience. Another poem that I wrote, called Song of the Sun, is about the segregation and labor that I witnessed the slaves having to do. I recognize myself as slightly more as an African American, and the poem shows just how much struggle I saw. I was seen as an example of modern literature and became a harbinger of the Harlem Renaissance. Cain was actually the most significant out of all my writings and was a big role during the Harlem Renaissance for me. I also wrote the poem Blue Meridian, which is along the lines of a lyrical poem that expressed my hopes for racial equality and unity even more. I became known as one of America's finest African American writers as well.
Speaking of the Harlem Renaissance, man oh man, were those the days.
The Harlem Renaissance was a literary, artistic, and intellectual movement that kindled a new black culture identity. Not only did it help lay the foundation for the post-World War II phase of the Civil Rights Movement, this was the time us, African Americans, were able to flourish with creativity and express ourselves through our artistic values. Hotspots emerged, music was of the essence, and literature began influencing African American writers. Some of the hotspots included the famous Cotton Club, where many black entertainers who had to be of certain standards performed for the general white audience. This club played music to bring a jungle atmosphere to the hall, which lured in celebrities. Other spots included the Savoy Ballroom, which was a very popular dance where the Lindy Hop actually became famous. The club played all the hit music during the era, including bebop, jazz, and blues. It was the most democratic dance hall since all races and classes came together to have fun. This time period really brought the black community to finally come out and pursue our dreams to become writers and such. The whites were fascinated with the outcome of how many black writers were coming into existence. The Harlem Renaissance influenced future generations of black writers to embrace their artistic sides and show their true colors through art.
Let me tell y'all about my love life. I met my first wife when I was working in a summer workshop in psychological and social development held in Portage, Wisconsin. Her name was Marjorie Latimer, and she was also a writer. She wrote many books called This Is My Body, Guardian Angel, and many other great books. We lived in an artist colony in Carmel, California, but sadly our lives together was cut short because in August 1932, my wife died while giving birth to our daughter, and in her honor, I named her after her mother, Marjorie. Oh, how I dreaded the feeling of not having my wife by my side. During the same year of my first wife's death, I wrote and published many books, dramas, essays, such as Brown River Storm and As the Eagle Soars. I then remarried soon after the death of my wife Marjorie Latimer to another white woman named Marjorie Content in 1934, and she was a daughter of a Wall Street banker. Our marriage was happy, but I then soon found myself having a friendship along with an affair at one point with Georgie O'Keefe. Although there was a romance involved with Georgia, my marriage with Marjorie managed to last our whole lives. I was judged for having both white wives, but I didn't give a damn about what anyone had to say about my life, nor was I interested in what anyone had to say about my life. I loved both my wives dearly. I wouldn't change anything for anyone.
And that was my life story. And I
Before Toomer's life in a nursing home, he went through many struggles throughout his life. He didn't want to be considered African American, nor a white man, but just as American, a member of a new race which he hoped to unify people together with. After he was remarried and a father, he challenged others to think about their views on the world. He started writing about spiritual enlightenment and took a trip out to India in 1938 where he ran into some of his own struggles. During the 1940s, he struggled to understand the idealism to another religion, Quakerism. He worked through these challenges by organizing a living space called the Mill House. Jean Toomer died at age 72 on March 30th, 1967 in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, but his poems live on today to tell the challenges he faced and the views he had to share during the infamous Harlem Renaissance.